Hip, hip, hooray! It's a reading day.
Oh, here we are. Sorry if I'm a little loud. Getting that blowout finished up here, or I guess it's really
You look amazing.
a dryer.
You look amazing.
Yes.
That's all that matters, Miss
I
Paulson.
know.
You look amazing.
I just love it. So Miss Jackson and I were just sitting here doing what we like to do at the beauty shop.
Cheers.
And we are just chatting it up. And I was telling her about another book that I read.
And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
I know. So some of you boys maybe were thinking, I mean, this is really great, but
We might have got him with the Matthew Cherry.
Yes.
Because
So
he's such a cool dad.
yes, that was definitely a big draw for you guys. But we found another book, and it's still all about.
I can't believe it.
It's still all about hair love, but through a different perspective. Ooh,
That's
do you
deep.
know that word, perspective?
That's
Perspective means how you see something, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We are going to start to compare and contrast the point of view, which can also be called the perspective.
Wait a minute. Didn't we compare and contrast the short film with this?
Oh, we did. There is so much comparing and contrasting going on in our reading world. So, I know. It never stops. That's what we always do.
Okay.
But this time we're going to be looking at who's telling the story. Because who's telling the story can really change how a story is told.
For sure.
So, I mean, for example, at the shop here, we hear all kinds of stories.
Oh, girlfriend, do we
so,
ever?
So many stories. I mean, if Miss Maud comes in and she starts to tell a story about, who was it she was talking about the other day?
I think it was Esther.
Oh, that's right, Esther. She told this story about Esther.
She and her twin sister Ethel,
Oh.
they were getting in some big trouble.
They were
Big trouble.
such a hoot, according to Maud.
Miss Paulson and I would never act like that.
No. But then, after Miss Maud left, Esther came walking through the door. And she started telling the same story.
Oh, to a different tune?
Yeah, it was so different. Just night and day, the way those two told the same story, the same event that they were talking about, completely different. So it's all about perspective.
Unbelievable. I can't wait. Another compare and contrast.
I know.
You know, I love to draw those thingies.
Yeah,
What are those, Miss Paulson?
I
love that.
Those Venn diagrams.
Sometimes I use hula hoops if I want to get really visual.
Oh, hula hoop, I like that. That works too. Well, when we can be together, we'll bring in those hula hoops. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the difference between who's telling the story and how that affects me, the reader. Just like in life, the difference of who's telling the story affects us differently.
Absolutely.
So it happens in reading, which is super cool. So in our story, Hair Love, the perspective there is what we call third person. Okay, because it's someone outside of the story that's telling the story. So we hear clues like the characters' names instead of the character referring to themselves. And then also in this story, you can have third person, but it can be limited, meaning you only really know the thoughts and the feelings
Limited might be a confusing word.
Oh, what does
Let's
it
talk
mean
about
to
that.
limit? Yes. So
What does it mean? What's it mean to be limited?
if you're limited, you only...
What's it mean to be unlimited?
Oh, it's all over.
It's all over.
It's all over.
It's all over.
But
it's like our hair skills.
Yeah, right?
They're unlimited.
They're unlimited. So, but if it's limited, you're just only know this much.
Yes.
Okay, it's very narrow what you can do.
Narrow. I love that.
Narrow.
I love that.
It is. And so, if it's third person limited, we usually only learn about what one character may be thinking and feeling. And then there's this other thing, and this is a really big word. Are you ready for
Is it going to be confusing, or do we have this?
No, it's confusing a little bit. It's third person omniscient.
I can't. Build me up. Tell me I can. Tell me I can.
You
that
can.
sounds like
You can.
I don't have my anchor chart to try to spell that.
Oh, we saved ourselves a little bit. You know what? Honestly, I had to double check the spelling on it.
I was too.
It's one of those tricky SC words.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get the anchor chart done, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't want to bring the paper into the salon.
We didn't want to get hair all over it. so you know.
Absolutely not.
So if it's omniscient, if we said limited is narrow, meaning you only know what one character is thinking and feeling, omniscient means all. Wow. Yeah. It's kind of like in the shop. The person that's sitting there doing the hair.
They're the all-knowing.
Yeah.
They're the all-knowing, aren't they?
They're the omniscient one because they hear all the stories from all the people.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. One of my jobs when I was a young girl, my job was to sweep the floor in the shop, and also back then we didn't have McDonald's cups. We had glass bottles.
Oh,
We had glass bottles for our drinks, for our soft drinks.
Yes.
So we would, that would be my job, would be to take the glass bottles back to the recycle bin. So when the Coca-Cola
Guy came.
he would take them out. So those were my two jobs. So I was kind of in the loop too.
You probably were because people didn't even probably notice that you were there.
No.
You spoke very freely, so you became a bit omniscient
I
yourself.
learned some serious life skills for sure.
So,
For sure.
when it's third person omniscient, then you know a lot more about what's going on, and you get a deeper
Love
look
that.
into all the characters. But now we can also have first person, and that's when
You're
am
telling the story.
a story about something I did. So
And you know what happens because you lived it.
right? Yes, a lot more details.
Yes.
If it's my
Yes.
version of my story.
Yes.
So there is that. We learned a lot more about our characters through a first person narration. But then
Is your head getting hot?
it's a little hot.
My ears are getting a
It
little
is.
warm.
It's a little warm under here. It's
a
still
little warm,
kind of
but
loud. It's
whatever
loud.
we have to do for our hair.
That's right, you know.
Mhm.
Beauty is pain.
Yes.
So here is the second one, or the third one, but it's second person. Second person is rare, guys. You don't
Who's
come
that?
across
Who's
this
that
very
character?
often. That is when the narrator talks to you, the reader.
Shut the front door.
I know, it's so crazy.
What's the narrator
So,
going to say to me?
The narrator will say, you know that feeling when, imagine if you, my example I love to use for those are, have you ever read those choose your own adventure books?
Oh, awesome example, Miss Paulson.
Those were my favorite when I was a kid. I've even gotten my kids enjoying those, and there's even board games for them now. But the whole thing, you become a part of the story.
Talk about engagement.
I know. So second person, that's where you become part of the story, which is what our story Crayon did
I
for
can't
us.
wait.
And
I
so
can't
you
wait.
don't see that as often in a picture book. So that's what we're talking about in live class today.
We're going deep, but I think they're ready.
I think they're ready.
I
think they're ready for
honestly
it.
feel we've got this.
This is the
We
next
have it.
level. We have to understand all those other parts of the plot of the characters to be able to get this deep.
So we're reviewing 2 learning targets that we've already visited, and we have 2 new that
new
both have the connection of compare and
contrast. How
I'm
they're
excited.
alike, how they're
I mean, I'm
different.
pumped. Ms. Paulson, may I share something
Oh, yes,
with
please,
you
always.
before we move forward? On the back of the book, I always love to read the back cover because honestly, sometimes the best is left for last.
Yes.
And here Zuri says, sometimes love looks like braids, puffs, and twists.
I love that.
And that's when she feels the most love in her superhero cape.
Wouldn't that be a fun little activity if we could ask you, students, to tell us what does some love sometimes look like to you?
Yes.
What a great connection. Ooh.
I love that.
I love when you give me activity ideas right there just from us talking. So
It's a good thing we're on video because we'll probably forget.
right, exactly.
It's a good thing we're here with you guys.
Just imagine when we're a little bit older, we're
It's
sitting
okay.
in these
It's
chairs.
okay. We're in it for the love of the reading.
That's right. So
'Cause we're bookish that way.
that's right. I guess with that, we'll let you get busy getting to the work and listening again to our story, Hair Love. Check out Crayon. And
I can't wait.
I know.
I cannot wait.
It is for you guys because you get hair love too.
Are you regretting
So-
not getting the fade?
Well, a little bit now because
Next time.
the way he talks about how you feel walking out of that barber
We
shop.
could fade one side and not the other.
You
You'd be
could.
cool.
Underneath, it can be like a secret fade. It could be like power I held within and no one else could see.
I like that, girlfriend. I like
There you
that. I like that.
All right.
Well, this has been awesome. I've
It
loved
has.
our hair time together.
I have loved our hair time together. We might just have to come back
This could be our hideaway.
I kind of like it. It's been fun.
All right,
So-
fourth grade friends.
There we go.
All right,
Until
until we read again.
See you
Bye,
later.
guys.
Leslie.
Bye, guys.
Surely
think
my
I'm gonna
color's
have to-
set by now.
I'm